Chapter 3 of The Tree Dwellers by Katherine Elizabeth Dopp. Read for LibriVox.org. Things to think about. Did you find a place where the tree dwellers might have lived? What kind of place was it? Did you find any wild foods where the ground was covered with grass? Do you think they could live on a grassy plain? Did you find any foods where the trees were thick? Do you think they could live in a dense forest? Where did you find the best wild foods? Could the sun get down to places where you found wild roots? Do vegetables grow better in the shade or in the sunlight? Are there as many wild foods here now as there used to be? Why not? Do you think you could live on such foods as the tree dwellers ate? Can you think of a name for the place where the tree dwellers lived? The Wooded Hills. The tree dwellers needed a place where they could be safe from wild animals, so they lived among the tall trees. They needed to be near fresh water, so they lived by trees along the river. They needed to be where they could find roots and berries. Down in the river valley, most of the forests were dense. The sun could not shine through the thick leaves of the trees. There was not enough sunlight to make the roots and berries grow. There were not many nuts and acorns on the trees. So the tree dwellers could not live there. Out on the grassy plains there were no trees. The tree dwellers could not live there. Near the head of the river valley there were hills and uplands. The forests there were not so dense. The sun could shine through the open spaces. Many roots and berries grew there. On the wooded hills near the head of the valley was a good place for the tree dwellers to live. They could be safe in the tall trees. They could get fresh water from the river. They could find nuts and acorns on the trees. They could find roots and berries in the open spaces. Things to do. Model in sand the hills and uplands near the head of a river valley. Show where the trees grow. Where would you look for roots and berries? Where would the cattle find grass? What else would the cattle need? Where would they find it? End of Chapter 3. This recording is in the public domain.